Oh, I hate this top chat shit. What's up, guys? It says I'm live. I'm live. It always starts with top chat. I don't like top chat because it only shows me the so-called pub chats. I just want to be able to talk to you guys for a little while, at least before Bellator starts, which is in like a little over a half an hour. I was tired of watching CC Sabathia get rocked by the White Sox. It was pissing me off. But yep, Buffalo Bills pretty much broke camp today. Broke OTAs, broke mandatory mini camp, and they are off. And now we wait. We wait till training camp opens, and the training camp schedule came out today. And from what it looks like, it is a pretty Spartan schedule at St. John Fisher. I mean, especially with all the training fields that they've put in, all the new fields they put in a turf field. I think they bought some land around New Era Field, and they built another field. I mean, the performance center that they just put a lot of money into, so they're going to spend a lot more time back at One Bills Drive during training camp, more so than they ever have in their history, more so than I ever remember them when they used to go away to Fredonia, when camps were much longer, and they were much longer before that, even because basically players went to camp to get in shape. Now these guys are in shape year round. I mean, we've seen the rash of injuries. We're just basically trying to get these guys healthy into the season anymore. It's not about getting them in shape. Yeah, you want to get them into football shape, you sitting. I think that's what it's more about. And that's more ties into the way the CBA is structured now, where these guys can't have the padded practices, can't hit each other, they can't bang on each other. And that stuff is irritating. But I can understand the organization, the coaching staff wanted to keep them as close to One Bills Drive as possible. Only 8 practices, 8 practices um, at St. John Fisher, and that's I think last year I don't know if it was 10, a little over 10 or something, between 10 and 12. Now it's even less. So, and they had 9 on the schedule. One is back at One Bills Drive. That's a ticketed. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, again, everybody goes out and has fun, watches the practices. Nobody, you're going to have your little nicks, bumps, guys coming up gimpy here and there, but hopefully nothing serious comes from it. That was one of the most interesting things I found today is that it's getting, and I think that's the way it is. You're seeing more and more teams, more and more organizations, they're staying home for training camp. I mean, the Giants pretty much do it now. They stay here in East Rutherford. They used to go away to, I don't know, they used to go away somewhere upstate New York, Albany or something like that. And I know the Jets went away a little while. They went to a smaller town up somewhere up in New York, below Rochester. I'm not 100% sure what was the name of the town they used to go to. Now they stay pretty much at Florham Park because these organizations want to stay. The Patriots, they stay at one Patriot place. They don't go far. They don't go anywhere. So I mean that's just pretty much the trend of the NFL now. A few transactions today. The whole draft class under contract. Dawson Knox signed the contract. Very good. A lot of people were like worried for no reason. That you saw that was the one round that was slow to start signing was the third round. In the last week and a half, those guys started signing, and he signs his contract today. At the end of he pretty much participated. He was a from that was the one common thread amongst everybody, in my opinion, was that Dawson Knox was really good throughout this entire camp, OTA, mandatory minicamp process. That he was really good, and that's a good thing. Given the injuries with fucking Croft, that signing irritates me because if you break a foot that you already broke, that just irritates the hell out of me. Bills picked up Toberich, brought him back. You know, we'll see. I still think they're going to add another body there. I really do. They were trying to add guys. They couldn't get Watson. I think they kicked the tires on another guy that wasn't reported. He ended up signing somewhere else, and then they brought in Toberich and they released McQuell Dean. So yeah, I mean, well, none of those guys will make the 53. So in my point, they're just camp bodies. So that's it. Josh Allen had mixed reviews. Again, I don't extrapolate much from these reports. Um, they are what they are. I mean, they might be working on stuff. He's not throwing to the receiving core. He's going to be throwing to her during the regular season. They're just messing around. What about that guy from Oakland, the tight end, Zach? Um, I'm not sure which one you're referring to. They've kind of had a big turnover at that position too. So I'm not I'm not sure which one they've had. Lee Smith. I'm sorry about Lee. Yeah, Lee Smith. Yeah, they brought him in. They used to be with the organization, brought him back. So yeah, even with him, they were looking at other tight ends. They were still, even with him on board, they were still looking at other guys, a veteran guy, because I don't know what they know about Croft's foot, because it's the same foot he broke, and he broke it in his first OTA practice. So that's a big red flag for me. And thank God it's a contract. There's not much tied to it that they can get out of in 1 year, which I think they probably will. But yeah, that sucks because I'm not counting on him to give them anything this year, bro. I'm not. I think he'll be PUP'd, and if we see him by between week 7 and week 9, which is the way those rules work, they can practice 2 week window, then come back after that. I'll you know I consider that a luxury at this point. I'm not counting on him for anything this year because that's, to me, you break the same foot doing pretty much basic stuff. That scares me a little bit. I mean, it probably scares them too because they know more about it than I do. I've never seen his X-rays or his MRIs or anything, but I wouldn't know what I was looking at anyway if I did. I just know what I know, like you guys do. So yeah, that position is going to be one they're going to use a lot. I mean, they have Kroom, they have Lee Smith, and then they have Knox. So it's a lot more lively of a group they had last year. I mean, Logan Thomas, he is what he is. He's a converted quarterback who couldn't do much in a lot of opportunities. And Lee Smith's a solid blocker. He's a tough guy. He can bring a lot in that. But I'm looking for Kroom and I'm looking for Knox to come up big this year to get even better. And we saw some stuff from Kroom, but everybody has the fumble. I constantly bring up that fumble against New England. Bad taste in their mouth. But I remember some of the big plays he made too. Like that catch against Detroit pretty much sealed the game. I mean, he did get open against New England and he burned them in the middle of the field a little bit in that game. So there was some good things to take away. And then Knox looks like a pretty sick athlete. Granted, his college numbers don't show up, but he looks like a ridiculous athlete, one that the Bills have sorely lacked in the middle of the field for a really long time. Kroom might be that too. We'll see. The receivers that were injured are kind of dinged up, kind of started to get back on the field a little bit. Beasley was running around after practice. I know Foster was messing around. You don't want to get those guys injured fucking around in an OTA practice. You really don't. I don't really get all like, oh my God, these guys. Yeah, it's like you want them to be out there, but you always got to remember, ain't nobody winning no games this time of year. Nobody's getting records. Nobody's making stats. And that's another thing I'm going to talk about in this video too. I'm going to talk about the Bills, but I'm talking about there's this split amongst fans that want wins and they don't care how they get them. And then there's fans that want sexy sizzle. That's what they don't care. It's statistical, it's fantasy football related, perception related. Oh, look at our quarterback. He has X number of yards, X number of touchdowns, but maybe they're not winning all that much. But there was fans that said they would rather have better stats from Josh Allen than wins or championships. Are you nuts? You want better statistics over championships? Fuck that. I want them to get a ring. I want them to get a trophy. It's everybody has this. They want to pick a side. They want to blame somebody for things. So that irritates me a little bit. Like, why can't you just? It is what it is. A game is free flowing. There's no script to it. Not everybody's going to go out there and have Patrick Mahomes numbers, but I guarantee that the Chiefs would trade everything to get that ring or have gotten a chance to beat the Patriots, not have D Ford line up off sides. I bet you they wish they had that back. They're not getting that back. 55, whatever touchdowns he had didn't save them from that. They didn't score anything in the first half. Got to score in the first half. Maybe you win the game. It's part of it. Yeah, I mean, even with basketball, the way these finals went, guys get injured in sports. It happens. Guys get injured, practicing. It happens. You can't. Everybody wants to blame somebody, and instead of just it's part of the game, they want to blame somebody. competitors want to compete at the highest level for championships. Granted, OTA practices are not NBA championship caliber intensity and whatnot, but still, you gotta. Those things happen so fast in game. The intensity's ratcheted up. The testosterone, the environment. Can't imagine what that's like. Can't imagine. And you get the media who want to spin it both ways. The same media would have blamed Durant for not playing, saying maybe he shut it down, protected his own self and investment. Not maybe I wouldn't blame him for that, but instead he chose to go out there and play. And then they want to criticize him for that too. And then they want to criticize the Warriors or their medical staff. They'll be this. They want it both ways. However it turned out, they get to be critical of it. Who wants to blame who for Klay Thompson? Oh, he bounced up and down and yeah, he was full of intensity. He was full of testosterone. If his ACL was torn, it was torn. He didn't tear it jumping up and down in the tunnel. He tore it when he landed awkwardly on it after taking the ball to the hole. And that's a really sucky situation. But Toronto played a hell of a series. Hats off to them. I'm not going to put no asterisk by their championship, whatever. That's just losers lament. I'm not a fan of either team. Had no horse in the race, but that's just my 2 cents on that. But back to the Bills. My whole focus, everybody's kind of had their pick of the litter, whether it was offensive line, wide receiver. Me, whatever makes Josh Allen better. And that starts with the offensive line, his own improvement, how he's working, and then him getting on the same page with the receivers. But he has to have time, he has to have protection, and he can't get himself, put himself in peril. Hey, what's up, Lens? How you doing, bro? Thanks for anybody who dropped in. I know it's a Friday. It's kind of late. I appreciate the guys who are watching now. I haven't been on in a little while. I had a couple of things come up, but I got a couple of little tidbit videos, nothing of any substance. If you guys want to check out, I'm going to throw up on here in a day or so. But yeah, this is the time of year, honestly, all I do, I don't know if you guys are the same way. I just hope nobody gets hurt working out somewhere. Like you hear about a guy like getting injured in some gym somewhere or getting arrested. That's it. That's all I worry about. I'm like, nobody get injured, nobody get arrested. Hopefully we don't have to worry about that with this group. That linebacker, Tyrell Dotson, he had an incident back at his school. Bills haven't released him. Nothing's really come of it. Yeah, no TMZ videos, no Zeke Elliott getting followed around an EDM concert, that crazy shit. Please, none of that stuff, man. I worry about that shit constantly. I hate that stuff. It's like when you watch sports and you're watching a great play on Sunday, and all of a sudden all you're waiting to see is if there's a red flag or there's going to be a replay or something that's going to take it away. That's you can't even celebrate till that happens. There's nothing. You have to sit there and just wait. Okay, can I be happy about this or can I not be happy about this? So yeah, I mean, all the questions going into the offseason are about the offense. The defense has pretty much been what it's been. After a rough start last year, it ended up being the number 2 ranked defense of the year. I feel like they've gotten better this offseason. I think they've gotten better talent in the defensive backfield. EJ Gaines, we know what he can bring to this Bills defense. Saw what we saw in 17. Provided he's healthy, they have a live body in front of him now with Levi Wallace, who can play. That kid can play, and he's not going to give up that job easily, if at all. And then they have a former first-round pick who looks like he's making a lot of plays, playing well. I don't even know if they've finalized those yet, man. I can't even tell you if they finalized them yet to talk about them. They're still like trying to figure out what they're going to do. I don't even know what to make of it yet. The coaches apparently don't want to have the responsibility of throwing the flag or being in that moment to have to make those calls. So it's strange. It's a strange place they're in right now with that whole rule. So I don't know, man. I'll have to wait and see. I don't know if there's another owners meeting or when they're going to be able to get that done. So yeah, but the talent in the defensive backfield to me at corner is what is better. There's more competition there. The safety position, I feel like it's a little. I think Saran Neal is prime. I think he's going to be an underlying contributor this year. I think they're going to give him every opportunity to play big nickel, be that Raphael Bush role. He's younger, plays a similar style, heavy game. Not the biggest guy, not the smallest guy, but he's not afraid to stick his nose in there. I remember that play where he shot in off the just blew in off the edge and sacked Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Granted, the Bills were getting blown out, but he made a hell of a play. Aaron tried to spin out. There was no spinning out of that. He just came in like hell. I mean, Bush played a hell. I tip my hat to him, though, because he played big time last year. The key for me is how much is that front four going to put pressure on the quarterback? How much impact is Ed Oliver going to have? How much is a healthy Trent Murphy? How different is he going to be? How the rest of the guys play together. I think Hughes is going to just play huge this year. I think Hughes is going to play out of his skull. Getting the security, that contract extension, just finally knowing that he's going to pretty much finish his career with the Buffalo Bills, the place where he turned his career around. My expectations, I expect the guy to get at least 6 sacks and a hell of a lot of disruption in the backfield, a hell of a lot. Whether he's making plays in the run game, making guys, cut back, doing things they don't want to do, blowing up plays in the backfield, whatever. That's what I expect from him. I expect for him to really be a pain in the ass up there for people with his speed, his athleticism, just his lateral quickness. I expect him to be just a real pain. Like might not see the numbers right away, but you're going to see him he's going to make other people's job a lot easier. You're going to see you're going to see quarterbacks run into sacks because of him. They're going to try to bolt out of the pocket, and they're going to be ends right there waiting for them. And he's not going to not run quarterbacks down. This guy is going to be able to run quarterbacks down from the backside, sideline to sideline. Like, he literally is a defensive tackle who can almost play sideline to sideline, that's ridiculous. In terms of an athlete, I don't know what type of career he's going to have. He's never played an NFL down, but in terms of an athlete, he is on another planet compared to Kyle Williams. In terms of an athlete, he is just in another stratosphere. So if he can have Kyle's work ethic and his attention to detail and his commitment, the sky is the limit for him. Like, I think of guys that could impact the game from an interior, and it would be amazing for him to be able to have if he can go out there and have double-digit sacks, I'd be ecstatic. But I expect a really, he wants to be in this defense. He was excited as hell when the Bills picked him. He told them that he was waiting for them to come get him. And maybe the Bills would have traded up to 3 if they had to get him. Who knows? But they didn't have to. Which is awesome. I'm happy as hell. I was so worried that they were going to make a trade for something stupid. I mean, not that he's a stupid pick or anything, but you don't trade up for anything other than the quarterback. That's just my humble opinion. You don't do no trading up for anything other than what you feel is your franchise quarterback. Outside of that, you don't do it at all. But I think the defense has high expectations, and it needs to carry this team at least for the first quarter to half of the season. And I think the offense can't get any worse. Let's just be honest. The offense cannot be any worse than it was the first half of last year. The offense was horrible. I mean, we've seen bad offense with the Buffalo Bills. Dude, that offense was historically bad in a very horrific way. Like, you were just like, oh, can they at least get a couple of field goals? And the defense can hold the team maybe to 13 points, and maybe they can get a lucky bounce or something can happen. And then you had the special teams killing them too, which was terrible. But this offense, I don't know how it can be any worse. So if this offense could come out and be anywhere between 5 to 8 places better in the league for the first month to 6 games, that's a huge improvement. That is a massive improvement compared to where they were last year. What's up, Damager? How you doing, bro? Just shooting the shit, talking over some Bills, OTAs, all that stuff is done. We're just going to wait for camp now. There's pretty much no St. John Fisher schedule. It's only 8 practices and one practice that's a night. I don't know if it's a night practice. I think it's a night practice that's at New Era Field. So yeah, they plan to be back at One Bills Drive a lot this offseason. They made a huge investment in that facility, so they're going to try to use that as much as possible, and rightfully so. I mean, I can't blame them. You invest $25 million in something, you want to be able to maximize it. I mean, I think that would behoove them. So I hope you guys are all doing well. Just jumped on here to talk some Bills for a few minutes. Again, that this time of year for me, like I told Zach, nobody get injured. Nobody get injured. No TMZ videos like Zach says. No crazy bullshit with the cops. Everybody stay on their P's and Q's. Just, come back healthy and ready to play. And, we're going to have the little tweaks and shit that's going to come up in camp. We all know. And hopefully none of that's serious. Ramius says hi. He's roaming around in the back there. I appreciate you guys who jumped on and stuff to just chat a little bit and talk. Again, there's not much going on. They got their whole draft class under contract. They made a few little, what's my thoughts on the possible move downtown? That's so far off, man. Until they've really come back with something concrete on stadiums, I'm not even going to give it a second thought. I know that a new stadium's coming, or they're going to do a massive renovation on One Bills Drive, New Era Field. They're going to do like a Lambeau, Kansas City Chief-esque renovation. So we'll see what that. It all depends. Once something's really starting to, you're starting to hear something with some movement, then I'll have a take on it. Me, if I'm to go to Bills games, it would be easier for me to fly up from New Jersey to go to Bills games if the stadium was downtown, to catch Ubers and stuff to goes into the city, as opposed to where it is in Orchard Park. It'd be a hell of a lot easier for me to have a hotel in Buffalo and then just basically walk over or Uber over to the stadium. But no, it's kind of out. Yeah, they have a lot of money over there. They've spent a lot of money at One Bills Drive. I think they'll always have their facility at One Bills Drive. I think they'll always have their offices, their training facility, their performance center. But I mean, again, it's years off, man. It's like we're probably not going to hear nothing concrete for another 2 years about a new stadium potentially. But it's almost 10 o'clock, guys. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it. I know this was kind of a little short and sweet, 22-minute thing. I just wanted to come on. It was the end. They didn't even do anything yesterday. They just had the team building, which is fine. They don't really, they didn't really do much of anything except run routes on air. They just want these guys. I think coaches know, like, let's just get these guys healthy into the offseason. Let's just throw our hands up. Even the no days off Patriots, they were just like, screw this. We're gonna, I think they canceled all their mandatory minicamp. I don't even think they did one practice. So they're defending Super Bowl champions, so they can do what they want. But you guys have a great one. Take care. Again, let me know what you guys want me to talk about in terms of Bills. If there's a video or a topic you want me to hit on that you care to listen to me talk about, let me know. I appreciate it, guys. As always, Damagers, Zach, Chris, who jumped in the room. I really appreciate it. It's a Friday. It's late. Thank you guys so much. Always. Bring back the UFC too. It's tough, man. The way that sport has gone, they always market itself as not being boxing, and they're going more towards boxing than you think. And I saw it coming a long time ago. If you follow it, I mean, Dana White himself, I mean, you've seen him with the Zuffa boxing shirts. It's coming. They're going to start promoting boxing. And the thing is they've spent so much money sending lobbyists to Washington to fight the Ali Act for their fighters, the athletes who make them their money, so that these guys and women who go in there and risk, I mean, they seriously risk their health. I mean, brain injury, I mean, you name it. And they choose to, but you're fighting your own product, your athletes to be able to maximize their earnings income, their potential. Because look, the UFC is going to be the UFC. Your athletes have this much window of their life to make as much as they can, and you're trying to deny them that. And you're saying, oh, we're not boxing. No, you're worse than boxing. They say they're an independent contractor. You sign a contract, they can cut a fighter at any point in time they want. They could sign a 6-fight deal. If they could do 2 fights on a deal, they could cut them. If they don't take a fight that they say, like, hey, you take this fight, short notice fight, they say no. That's a hard thing to do. Just step in 2 weeks notice, cut weight, and then you risk taking an L for what? For them to maybe cut you? It's tough. I mean, there's Bellator now, who's having a card in a couple of minutes. Viacom owns them. They have a lot of money, and they're paying their fighters pretty well. They're letting them do their own sponsors. That's another thing too. They did the whole thing with Reebok. These guys can't even make these women and guys can't even make as much money as they can sponsorship wise. They've lost millions in sponsorship deals, millions, because they can't, because the UFC has it under their purview now with Reebok. Nobody can go out there in any other type of gear. They have the stupid monster thing sometimes because it's in with the UFC. Fighters, they're pretty much, they're owned in a lot of ways. Their contracts aren't honored, they aren't treated fairly, and they pick and choose who they promote. They fluffed up Conor McGregor. They sold him as this big next greatest coming of something when he was a fraud. He had a light and lovely way on the come up. They put a bunch of advantageous competition in front of him, competition that made him look good, that highlighted him. And then when he got in there with tough guys, he lost. And that's the same model you follow in boxing. You build a guy up, you hype him, and then you slowly start to throw tougher opposition in front of him. But on the way up, you throw opposition in front of him that's going to highlight him. Oh, this guy just stands in front of him. He's not athletic. He's just going to stand there and stand with him. He's not going to try to take him down. The second he had to change his game up and fight guys who were going to try to take him down or potentially could take him down, he didn't know what to do. He quit. But that's the guy they chose to promote. Ronda Rousey took 1 L and she wouldn't even show her face on the plane coming off. She covered her face. But that's the girl they chose to get behind. So I question a lot of their shit, man. I think they're into promoting themselves more so than the fighter. They use the fighter because they went through a huge transition when, Chuck Liddell, fizzled out, when Anderson lost and he started failing a bunch of tests. GSP left out of nowhere because USADA came in and started testing everybody. That threw up a red flag about him. Now he's got these intestinal issues, so I don't know, man. A lot of things changed with that sport that I saw coming. They tried to, make it more mainstream than I think. I still think it's a very niche sport. I still think it's very niche, in my opinion. All right, guys, thanks for listening. That was my little UFC rant or talk about but I'll talk about it more if you guys choose to. I mean, I still watch the sport. I still love the sport. I never stopped watching the sport. And I watch pretty much all sports except tennis and golf. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all. Love you all so much. Go Bills always. Have a great Friday night and a great weekend. Be safe. Okay, guys? Go Bills.